Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. How's it going? Another day, another dollar. Another day to where you don't have to make the same mistakes in a higher frequency uh, in public. Another day where that could totally be a possibility. Good morning. Happy Sunday, everybody. How y'all doing? I forgot about the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Apparently, it was yesterday? Last night? I wonder who went. Did anybody from The View go? Because it'd be funny if they did. I think for obvious reasons, but if it's not obvious to you, then you know it's not obvious to you. What do you want me to say? Anyway, how y'all doing? Happy weekend. My sister Tracy's birthday yesterday. It was okay. It could have been worse, but it wasn't. Um, we went to Sugar Factory. It is a new restaurant downtown. I say new, but I don't know how like new it is. And it was fine. Took some photos. Apparently, a lot of celebrities go there. So I said, okay, I have to take my photo then. Anyway, um, yeah, so her birthday, we went to the Riverwalk. It was fine. It was the usual kind of mix of stuff. Um, yeah. But basically, it was not at Sugar Factory, or at least with the staff, but it kind of felt like somebody else wanted to celebrate on Tracy's birthday than maybe perhaps her. Which, I'm not too surprised about. Surprise, surprise, big shock there. Yeah. But anyway, um, yeah, it was nice on the Riverwalk. It was nice being downtown San Antonio. Um, I try to take cool pictures, obviously, and have San Antonio shown from my perspective and stuff like that. Do you know how they say like artists have a style? Um, what'd you say, like, as far as photography? Does that go with photography? Obviously, right? Maybe it's like landscapes and stuff like that. But I mean, like, is there like a voice in photography that maybe if you're a photography expert, you can enlighten us on? Do I have a certain voice in photography? Thanks for letting me know. Anyway, yeah, it was Jesse's birthday yesterday. It went okay. Um, as far as my tarot card video, I'll either do it today or tomorrow. I mean, things are kind of up in the air right now with, in there. So as far as tarot card readings go, I probably won't go with my same schedule of Sunday morning. Because I am a member of a household and at the lowest ranking member at that. So either today or tomorrow. My weekly tarot card reading and drawing. Speaking of which, I do need a new sketchbook. I'll be done with my sketchbook soon, so there's a little, I don't know if you can tell, a sweet little hummingbird over there to visit me today. I'm gonna drink my coffee from my Lucky Charm cup to commune with this sweet little hummingbird. One second. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I guess I don't really have much political to say. Um, my political topics of discussion today was Ken Paxton, um, which I think is interesting. Kind of is in the center of a lot of like themes that have been going around, at least for me. His name was on the lawsuit. Was it a lawsuit that went to the Supreme Court before January 6th? The Supreme Court said that they didn't have any standing. There were several lawyers or attorneys who were a part of that lawsuit. Ken Paxton's name happened to be on there too, of which the Supreme Court said there wasn't any standing. Yeah, I read over that lawsuit. That lawsuit is very informative. I even think I did a couple of YouTube videos on that specific lawsuit. So yeah, now it's 2025. The 2024 November elections have come and gone. Obviously, hence it is the end of April 2025, and Ken Paxton has decided to run for senator of Texas. If you are unfamiliar and unaware, the senators in Texas are John Cornyn and Ted Cruz. Ken Paxton has decided to go on the attack towards John Cornyn, just John Cornyn. I'm not sure what spurred this on. I'm not sure exactly what's happened. But Ken Paxton has decided that maybe his role as Attorney General is not going to be, is coming to an end. I don't know if there's term limits for Texas Attorney Generals or not. But he got reelected in a runoff. And I'm thinking maybe his term is ending as Attorney General. I don't know. I should have looked that up before I had this political discussion with y'all. But anyway, I just think it's an interesting move. I saw on the Matt Gaetz show on One American News Network about how MAGA's going to be with Ken Paxton and not with John Cornyn. I personally don't like John Cornyn. I don't know if you knew this, but John Cornyn used to be a judge in the state of Texas, and I think, according to my sister Tracy, I haven't looked too much into it, but according to my sister Tracy, John Cornyn was one of the judges who sent my dad to prison, ended up affirming sending my dad to prison. My dad has been to prison 3 times, all while we were growing up, one when we were little, one when I was in middle school, and then another 3rd time after I graduated high school. My father was incarcerated. And I'm not sure if he could vote. These are all questions that I could readily ask my mom, but there seems to be a lot of issues right now going on there. Now is not the best time to be asking those questions. Okay. But anyway, something that it deviates, I think, from this Ken Paxton political talking point, and on a little bit more onto this. I'm here not a celebrity and public figure talking point, but anyway, I don't want to get too far, digress too far on into that rabbit hole. Um, so yeah, that's why I don't like John Cornyn. Apparently, Ken Paxton didn't have any problems with that. But for some reason now, in 2025, Ken Paxton all of a sudden has a problem with the Senator John Cornyn, um, which I think is interesting. As you know, if you wanted to be the most effective, if you really didn't like him all that much, then why didn't you run for Senate in the 2024 elections? Why wasn't that something that you have already planned? Why now? You could have run for Senate, won, beat him, been a senator during the Trump administration. MAGA. Now your best option is to be a senator for Texas during the Trump administration, MAGA, Team MAGA. Now with what, 2 years, half of the administration. That doesn't make any sense. So, Ken Paxton, Texas Attorney General, sued the Biden administration out the wazoo. I can't wait to see the financial reports on that. I know internally his office, there's been a lot of stuff going on. Kind of reminds me of Rand, Representative of Kentucky, Rand Paul. I think him in his office, there was kind of a public kind of uh, uh, turmoil, drama going on. As far as you say, well, you might want to be defensive for whatever reason of them too, and your argument towards what I just said might be, well, didn't that happen a lot with 47? Yeah, but that's a little bit more on brand. That's something that we've known since 2016, and dare I say, even before then in his business career, his career as a business businessman. Um, so yeah, that's a little bit more on brand. And as far as this internal turmoil and inter-office politics, inter-office drama, I think with Ken Paxton it was whistleblowing, maybe for finances, I don't know. And I think with Rand Paul, I think with his, I think a couple years ago it was, I can't remember if it was an intern. There was like some sort of issue. And I can't remember if it involved the police or not. I just remember reading over that there was like some sort of issue going on there. But yeah, so Ken Paxton with the voting, very much about counting the legal ballots. Not even if you're wondering, I don't think that lawsuit that went to the Supreme Court covered any, it just covered the number of ballots and stuff like that at the time of the election and counting the ballots that November. I don't think it covered any of this, each individual state's like declaration of emergency type situation because of COVID and being able to vote then. I think that specific lawsuit that went to the Supreme Court just covered the amount of ballots, and I can't remember if it explained the curing process or maybe I just happened to look that up separately. But yeah, it just dealt with some of the swing states, certain swing states, and the numbers there enough to which would have swayed the election the other way. At least as far as again, the ballot and the voting counts, not having to do with the electoral vote, which went all the way, as if you don't remember, went all the way to Mike Pence to confirm that Biden won in 2020. Um, so yeah, I just think it's interesting. Can all of a sudden Attorney General of Texas, who just spent the last 4 years suing the bleep out of the Biden administration any and every chance he got. um, so I think it's interesting how if like a Democrat, wouldn't it be so easy like just put a number on it, just put how much money did the United States government and the state of Texas spend on that? They don't want to do that because of immigration. I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like, Democrats, what kind of adversaries are you? Do we have to do all the work here? Obviously. Ken Paxton did not have any kickback, pushback with his suing of the Biden administration. I don't even know how many times. I don't like Ken Paxton, by the way. I thought he might have been okay because, like I said, his name was on that lawsuit that went to the Supreme Court, but turns out now, not a supporter. I think in Texas, if you're in Texas, shouldn't your human trafficking funding be on par with California and New York, maybe even Florida? How much funding does the state of California have? How much fighting human trafficking funding does the state of New York have? So on and so forth. I think the one time I looked it up, I think it might have been in 2022, it was like $100,000 to fight human trafficking in the state of Texas. Ken Paxton, Attorney General, said you should at least have it more than that, especially considering all this immigration issues with the Biden administration's open borders you have. But anyway, yeah, so I think as far as some political issues that's been going on recently in the 45th, 46th, 47th presidencies, administrations, I think he kind of covers a lot of those topics. So why all of a sudden, so MAGA's against John Cornyn now? News to me. But I've been against John Cornyn for a while, so I think John Cornyn, as a senator and maybe even as a judge, prides himself on fighting pharmaceutical companies. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I don't like either one of them, and I think it's just weird. Ted Cruz is fine. It's John Cornyn MAGA didn't like. Okay. But anyway, yeah, it was the voting. It is the we talk about our AOC talks about lobbyists, but you have this element of being in law, whether it's an attorney or a judge, and then going into politics, which is an interesting move. You would think most people wouldn't make that move. You'd have to be of public service to make that move, right? Because attorneys is one of those careers where you're like, you're going to be doing fine. You're going to be making money. You're not going to be hurting for money in any sort of survivalist type of sense, right? Oh my gosh. 1 second. It is my lucky day with birds today. There's a little dove over here. Just fell over here. You walk over there. I think it's gonna be fine. Anyway. So yeah, I just think Ken Paxton's kind of at this is kind of brings a lot of these kind of concepts and issues are just kind of all like surrounding Ken Paxton. Birds are surrounding me, and all of these issues are surrounding Ken Paxton. But yeah, the voting, the integrity of elections, right? I guess is something that was just of 2020. As far as being against John Cornyn and the integrity of elections, um, I don't. Personally haven't seen anything about that. His disagreement between Ken Paxton and John Cornyn there, um, and I have heard of a thing called friendly lawsuits. Um, they are not illegal, friendly lawsuits, but uh, it's kind of where uh, the two sides aren't completely against each other as far as uh, being on a separate team, I guess, in court and out of court. Um, and of course, I guess this whole, well, it's Democrats versus Republicans. I'm hyper aware of these things because in uh, before 2021, it was an absolute no. I cannot do that. I cannot be a Republican or be a Democrat and then switch to Republican, let alone a Trump Republican. It was a huge issue here for me to be against any Democrat politician, any Democrat uh, idea presented as Democrat. Um, it was a big deal at a very tough time for me. And so for this, I'm just very much hyper aware of this Democrats versus Republicans uh, situation we got going on. Um, I like value and quality, and I think that can be obvious and apparent to people. I think people just naturally gravitate towards those two things, and if that's not there, uh, I think people are their spidey senses are gonna tell them like what's going on here, and maybe further thought into what's going on is required. Um, but yeah, I just think it's ridiculous that, you know, 47's been doing his rally since what, 2022? Uh, so it wasn't completely unforeseeable. I'm unaware of what Senator John Cornyn has done apparently recently to where Ken Paxton and MAGA, I'm just quoting Matt Gates's the Matt Gaetz show, but apparently MAGA is now against John Cornyn too for whatever reason, and is for Ken Paxton for Texas Senator. So, well, how different did they vote? They want to talk about MAGA. I'm wondering, as far as like if I was a journalist, I would be like, well, what are the differences in the voting that of all the bills that got passed, of all the ones that didn't get passed, what was John Cornyn's vote and what would be Ken Paxton's vote? Because to me, they're like basically like the same person. So you get one, you get the other. So it's really odd that they're two separate. I got the fake neighbors out right there. I call them fake neighbors. Deal with that. In my opinion, my lived experience in this back alley. So count it. Another back alley intrusion. Because I can see them right there. They right there. They were right over there. But anyway, so yeah, that was my political discussion. Basically, Ken Paxton and kind of the political categories that kind of follow him around are kind of the political categories that I've kind of just been looking out for, I guess, these past 4+ years. And obviously, this is a really big issue. So what does Ken Paxton have to say about me in this situation? Completely fine. I didn't even bring that up into the politics, but I'm sure, uh, uh, there had to at least have been a statement. Anyway, so yeah, slow weekend. I don't know what's going on in my house, but tarot card reading today or tomorrow. White House Correspondence Center, and the Pope's funeral was yesterday. It turns out we were watching it via YouTube on the TV in the living room, my mom's TV. Um, and obviously, I have a lot to say about that. I don't want to get too much into it though, but I thought the service was nice, and I like my new shirt. My mom got it for me on Friday, so. I just want to say that the service looked really nice, and of course the church looks really pretty, and uh, uh, yeah, I saw there's a photo of world leaders attending the Pope's funeral, and I thought that was really nice, of all different faiths. So yeah, I just think that's really nice and really interesting because of okay, I'm gonna show y'all this hawk. Okay. Oh, but this bird of prey left. um, uh, but I just think it's really interesting as far as uh, I don't want to put everything on a Democrat voter, but as far as a Democrat politician, for sure. Um, I just think it's very interesting how around the world religion is very much respected. It's not considered a weakness, let alone intellectual, I hate to say disability, but I'll say a disadvantage. Um, Maybe in Democrat political circles. I'm not saying all of them, but I think that is a theme, right? Again, I don't want to say the regular Democrat voter, um, but I do think it's interesting how in a lot of places all over the world, religion and faith is very much respected. So I was, as far as who attended and who didn't, um, and all of that going on, which I thought was probably, you know, um, uh, not the best look. But as far as, again, if you want to say, well, it's 47, if that's your argument against it, or maybe perhaps you see that somebody else's argument against what I'm saying, it's hard, but that is a part of his work ethic. There's bad people out there, and sometimes that's your work environment. Um, and yeah, that's my argument towards that. I didn't think it was the appropriate time or place, and I think that was the point as far as all that goes. But with that aside, I've in 2012, I've wondered that, you know. In 2012, Tariq and Christina, they went to my dad's funeral. Um, Not one mention that I'm a public figure and celebrity and that I've been filmed. Um, Harriet Duncan, I think, was maybe in Europe. I think Nikki and Haley were in Hawaii because apparently they had there was a lot of graduations in 2012. I was looking through the photo albums, and that's what it was. I think Nicole graduated, and Haley graduated, Lisa graduated higher education, all in 2012. So as far as all that goes, I just want to say that, I think that it was really nice to see other world leaders, especially respecting faith and religion and stuff like that. And obviously, I saw like the protesters with the Gaza flags and stuff like that. I thought it was neither the time or the place. Extremely insensitive. Um, and yeah, uh, and so I'm glad that my husband and Melania were there to. I consider both of them two individuals of respect, discipline, focus, and all that. So I'm really, I think it was a positive that people of what I consider integrity and respect were there also. Um, especially if there's going to be situations in front of the camera. Um, so yeah, here's my new shirt. I like it. I got it at Walmart. Tarot card reading here tomorrow. Somebody's jogging. If you're wondering, I saw them jogging the other way, and then I just saw them jogging that way. So yeah, those are my thoughts. A lot of political stuff going on that are maybe not just this is the Democrat side and this is the Republican side. I think maybe Ken Paxton is probably a good example to have a discussion on that. I'm having the feeling that maybe I didn't explain it as well as I wanted to, even though it looks like I spent a bit of time talking about it. But anyway, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and go inside. I'm gonna go running and see what I'm at the low end of the totem pole. See what the two higher schedules in the house, what they got going on, and go from there. But yeah, happy Sunday. Another day, another dollar. I got to commune with some birds today, which is really nice. Um, yeah, the bird's not there, so that bird's fine. So yeah, I'm gonna go and do my Instagram morning post, and I'll talk to you later. Y'all have a good one. Hope to talk to you with my husband right next to me. But until then, it's this back alley living, okay?